George Orwell once said that the farther a society moves away from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it. Yet, freedom is the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. Before we begin with this postmortem of politics, many would have an apprehension of whether politics is dead. But I, Aadesh Shinde, would clearly show how politics lies here as a cold, pale, lifeless dead body. Before we reach here, we need to understand what politics is, what politics stands for, and what has led to the death of politics, also how the repercussions of the death of politics result in contemporary India and the world at large. A political structure is a system of governance of people and the society at large aimed at bringing in social order. It also establishes the relationship between those who govern and those who are governed. Like in a democratic setup, people elect their own representatives, thereby meaning that it is the will of the people from where these governments derive their legitimacy. Politics stands for ideals like liberty, equality, fraternity, justice, development, welfare of people, social welfare, freedom, protection of individual rights, and many more. But today, this politics is devoid of its very own soul because it is no longer based on moral values, it is rather based on monetary value. The unending lust for power and the temptation to hold on to positions of authority have made politicians oblivious to human suffering, to poverty, to unemployment, to poor access to healthcare and poor educational services. It is here we understand that the death of politics has happened due to narrow-mindedness, due to divisive ideologies. And what happens when politics dies? When politics dies, citizens do not know who they are voting for. Rather, they surely know who they are voting against. Also, what happens is there is a reign of fear where nobody is allowed to speak his mind and express his opinions. And even if someone does that, he is abducted, he is censored, he is labeled, he is mob lynched, and he is murdered. It is because there is no room for truth, for logic, for rationale, and there is only room for propaganda and not facts. And this is why fake and sold out media houses only showcase the number of encounters that a government has done and not the number of jobs that it has produced. It is when constitutional bodies like the CAG, the Election Commission of India, the RBI are systematically dismantled and their voices are shunned. Politics draws its last breath when the voice of the people is silenced. It is when constitutionally elected governments are toppled by political parties and they fail their own people, rendering their constitutional exercise of voting power meaningless. It acts as the last nail in the coffin when the judiciary, which seems to be and is believed to be independent, is impacted by politics, and it is at that very moment when they are rendered as mere puppets in exchange of post-retirement benefits and post-retirement appointments. Why politics dies, what has happened is all what we have seen. But in order to bring its glory, we need to ensure that politics is devoid of divisive mindsets. Also, these repercussions do not hamper politics or are not fatal to politics alone, they are fatal to this nation as a whole. And thereby we need to understand that this current structure of government may any day be overthrown by a revolution, but this country, its people, its ideology and its diverse culture is here to stay. Thank you so much.